Why did Hitler attempt to invade Russia? Was it his biggest mistake? On June 22, 1941, Nazi Germany launched Operation Barbarossa, the codename for Hitler's invasion of the Soviet Union. This military campaign was the largest in human history in terms of manpower and casualties, involving over 3 million Axis troops, 600,000 vehicles, and thousands of aircraft. But why did Hitler choose to open up a second front in the east when he was already fighting Britain in the west? To understand this decision, we must go back to Hitler's ideological vision. From the beginning, Hitler viewed Bolshevism and communism as mortal enemies of Nazism. In his book Mein Kampf, he made it clear that he believed Germany needed Lebensraum, or living space, in the east. According to Hitler, the Slavic people were racially inferior, and the fertile lands of the Soviet Union should be conquered and colonized by Germans. He saw the USSR not only as a military target but as a racial and ideological enemy. Despite signing the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact with the Soviet Union in 1939, a non-aggression agreement, Hitler never intended to honor it for long. The pact was a temporary convenience that allowed him to invade Poland without Soviet interference and focus on Western Europe. But after the rapid defeat of France in 1940, Hitler believed that Britain would soon collapse or surrender. Confident in his army and misled by his own sense of invincibility, he turned his attention eastward. Hitler was also driven by a strategic miscalculation. He believed that the Soviet Union was weak, disorganized, and could be defeated within a matter of months. He underestimated Soviet industrial capacity, the determination of the Red Army, and the willingness of the Soviet people to resist a brutal invasion. Many German generals warned against the campaign, but Hitler overruled them, trusting in blitzkrieg tactics that had worked in Western Europe. Operation Barbarossa began with stunning initial success. German forces quickly captured vast areas of Soviet territory, including modern-day Ukraine and Belarus. Hundreds of thousands of Soviet troops were killed or captured in the early weeks. However, as the Germans pushed deeper into the Soviet heartland, logistical challenges increased. Supply lines became overstretched, and the vastness of the Soviet Union became a serious obstacle. One of the critical turning points came in late 1941, when German troops approached Moscow. They were exhausted, poorly equipped for the harsh Russian winter, and facing fierce Soviet resistance. The Red Army, benefiting from fresh reinforcements from the east and the leadership of generals like Georgy Zhukov, launched a counteroffensive that pushed the Germans back. What was meant to be a quick and decisive campaign turned into a prolonged war of attrition. Another key factor that contributed to the failure of Operation Barbarossa was Hitler's refusal to listen to his military commanders. He constantly interfered with strategic decisions, redirected troops arbitrarily, and insisted on capturing symbolic targets like Stalingrad, even when they had no real strategic value. This stubbornness would lead to one of the most disastrous defeats in German military history in 1943. Moreover, Hitler failed to understand the industrial might of the Soviet Union. Factories were relocated east of the Ural Mountains, out of reach of German bombers, and continued to produce tanks, planes, and weapons at an astonishing rate. Unlike in Western Europe, the Nazis encountered not submission, but total resistance. The brutality of German occupation, mass executions, destruction of villages, and treatment of civilians, only strengthened Soviet resolve. In the end, the invasion of the Soviet Union opened up a devastating Eastern Front that drained Germany's military resources and manpower. While Hitler believed that a quick victory would crush communism and give Germany control of vast natural resources, the reality was far different. The war in the East became a long, bloody struggle that Germany was not prepared to win. By 1945, the Red Army had not only repelled the German invasion but had pushed all the way to Berlin, effectively ending Nazi Germany. Operation Barbarossa, which was supposed to secure Hitler's vision of a German empire in the East, turned into the beginning of the end for the Third Reich. So, was it Hitler's biggest mistake? Most historians would say yes. While Hitler made many strategic errors during World War II, invading the Soviet Union stands out as the most catastrophic. It stretched German forces too thin, turned a one-front war into a two-front war, and unleashed a military and industrial giant that ultimately crushed Nazi Germany.